approach slide. Good effort, Kayla. Good effort. Red.
Red number, baby.
Yeah. That's your scene. That's your scene. I know that hug. Kayla gave him that hug like well done. You know the Oscars hug.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, what we do every other weekend here on this episode. Hope you enjoy the show.
Kayla, yes. I feel like I was in the car doing the thing. How are you feeling?
Feeling amazing. That was fun. It was super fun.
Listen, I think at your age, we've got 20 more years of excitement from you, at least.
Yes, you do.
You've done your whole city, Kimberly, proud. Kimberly, you got a diamond here. You got a diamond. You see what I did there? Kimberly, diamond.
Kayla, we are proud of you.
The rose. Kayla is the power!
Underline it.
The rose that grew from the concrete. The impossible rose. Watch the space. Remember this name. Remember this name. This is what it's all about.
Sorry to help
This is what it's all about. I want to thank you. You are amazing. Bottom line.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you for
You
everything.
impressed me too.
Look
Enjoy
after
your day.
yourself and
Be
look after your
safe.
family. Be with the
How's your
wellness and the
day,
nice
dear?
times.
Bye,
I've got
Jason.
tears. I'm giving it.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Happiness is different for everyone. Kayla is also proof that you can't judge a book by its cover. We learned that I can spin, kinda. We also learned that Nickness can hit a serious high note. The most important thing we've learned is how to give it gears. We've learned that when you find something you love, you have to give it gears. All we know is Rose is going to get some serious mileage in search of more amazing people like Kayla.
For many mountain bikers, the foundation of fear is built upon pain and suffering. Emotional turmoil is often the price paid for a life chasing dreams. Channeled correctly, fear can be a powerful motivator.
This is our journey into fear.
Drop!
Tyler? EMS, we need you here. Tyler,
Don't move, don't move, don't move.
Tyler, do not move. I got
Tyler,
you.
do not move.
I'm a medic right here.
Don't move.
I remember coming to, not being able to open my eyes. I didn't know if I was blind or what was going on, didn't know where I was, which is a pretty scary feeling. I started hearing familiar sounds, and I kind of put two and two together that I was at Rampage. I remember just saying, like, that's it, I'm done. And I don't know if I was talking about Rampage itself that day or riding or what it was, but I remember saying that over and over. I got back home and everything slows down, back to normal life, just kind of left alone, not being able to do anything. And that's the thing with concussions is you can't do anything. If you get your heart rate up, you get a headache. So you're just sitting there and you feel fine, your body feels fine, but you know that you're not supposed to be riding, and you don't feel all there, and your mind just starts kind of playing tricks on you because you can't do anything. For a little while, I was looking at other options and just kind of trying to find a way out. My girlfriend said we can go through another broken bone again because she helped me through a few of those, but the concussion thing was hard for her, just seeing me in a weird place like that. So once I could finally ride again, I started mellow, riding my trail bike, and I was just afraid of crashing and hitting my head, honestly. I was afraid to go fast, and there's a lot of confidence battle that mixes with fear, and you gotta try to let your confidence pull you through and not let the fear take you down. I didn't know if I could get back to where I was, confidence-wise, and be able to push myself and be able to ride to a point where I'm having fun, because I'm not really having fun unless I'm pushing myself. But eventually I started feeling more comfortable and getting back to where I felt like I was and started having fun again, going fast, doing tricks. And it all started coming back, but it's always in the back of my mind that if I crash, I want to keep my head off the ground. The sport's always changing. You got to take it upon yourself to push yourself and stay relevant. But at the same time, there's a fear of losing your job and having it all just be taken away if you have a bad crash. And so yeah, you're trying to push yourself, but not hurt yourself to where you get sidelined and have to find a real job.
Rampage 2002, that was when I first really fell in love with freeriding. Just the ability to go big and choose your own lines. It sparked a good 10 years traveling the world, hanging out with friends, and really having fun on the bike. And all those years, I always felt like I was a step or two ahead of fear. It wasn't until trying that front flip for where the trail ends that I really, felt fear creep in my headspace and actually side rail me from doing something that I wanted to do. And just to utterly fail, not because I tried and I crashed, but because I couldn't get myself to try. That, to me, it was really hard. Who knows? Maybe I still haven't let that go, but it's, yeah, I take it to heart and I hate it. It sucks. Before all that, I always knew I was going to always prevail and push through my fears, but now all of a sudden I definitely approach things a little differently because I always knew in the back of my mind that fear got a hold of me. So I was always aware of trying to bite off more than I can chew. For me, my biggest downfall has been, letting the fear of being injured get to me. Doctors have basically said to me, if you keep doing this, you're not going to be able to ride your bike. Yeah, that knuckle looks death from here.
It does.
When
you hit that, you're going to the bottom.
Oh, fuck, dude, you're milk toast.
Yeah.
Fear itself has to be channeled into positive energy. Everybody has their different ways of tackling their fears, I'm more of like a kind of send it type guy. Fear comes from within. It's real, it's prevalent, it's something that's there, and I'm gonna have to deal with it for however long it's gonna take to push through all this and get rid of my fears.
Better?
Get it! Yeah, buddy. Hell yeah.
I remember when we were young, we'd built this gap that you were trying to jump was like probably 3 or 4 times anything we'd ever like nearly jumped before. And I remember filling like the backside of the middle with like pallets and old bits of foam and stuff. And then you came like sprinting down the road and then into the like area where the jumps were and hit this jump, trying to clear it. And it was so big, you were in the air for so long, you were like twisting in the air because it was like so far on this chunky old BMX. That was the first time I remember being like genuinely worried for like your safety.
You got some pretty bad injuries like quite early on, and I think G and I grown up seeing you go through that, we definitely learned a lot from it, and you did it the hard way.
Yeah, it was like you taught us what to do, like how to get through, not just how to race, but how to get through like race life in a way.
We grew up in quite a small village, so there was like a close group of friends all into the same things at the same time, you know.
Pretty much all of it was idyllic.
Dan was kind of the ringleader. He would pick what we were into, and bikes was the one thing we'd always kind of come back to. And Athy's an incredible character. You know, he's raced for the same amount of time as me and had some horrifically bad injuries and always just kind of dealt with them and moved on from them. He's been a massive role model to me in the sense that, you know, whenever I've had to deal with injuries, I can always think about what Dan's had, and it's always been worse. When I see how strong he's been, it just gives me that inspiration.
And saw him like strapped, like taped to the bed down, just staring. No one knew what the diagnosis was, and it just freaked me out, like totally messed me up. Dan's always been the person we go to for that confidence and stuff. And suddenly the tables had turned and we had to be there for him, and we had to sort of be the ones that would tell him it's going to be all right. And that was kind of like a point where I thought, is it worth it? Is all this worth it?
Our next rider, think about this. I mean, he's been doing it for some time now, and he was just on the podium just 2 years ago. And I'm talking about Cam McCall.
2002 was the first year I started doing contests, and I never knew how long it was gonna last. There was a period of time where I just figured I would do it forever. Halfway through the week during Crankworx Whistler 2014, I was on the hill practicing, and my heart wasn't in it, where I decided that was gonna be my last contest. And I remember being in the gate for my last run going like, all right, sick, this is it.
Whistler puts their heads together. Legend, free ride legend, that is Cam McCall.
I remember hanging up on a flip whip on one of the bigger jumps and getting bucked to flat in the air, knowing how bad that was gonna hurt, but also at the same time, like being so relieved that this is the last big hit to the ground I was gonna have during a slopestyle competition. All I knew was I was in a ton of pain, yet I felt super good about it.
So much the mountain biking.
By saying I don't want to do contests anymore, I was hoping that didn't mean that, all right, well now you're gonna lose all your sponsors and you're gonna lose all the connections and the ability to have opportunities to do filming stuff. But I also had to be okay with that. It is a day-to-day thing where I'm like, the fear of appearing not valuable in the eyes of the sponsors. But then there's a way bigger fear, the fear of not being a good dad and being a good husband. These days, everything is kind of like a balancing act, trying to make sure I'm here enough, but I'm gone enough to be productive. A lot of times it results in me definitely not having a lot of time at home to ride.